This is Twit.
On June 5th, The Guardian published an article showing evidence that the U.S. government forced Verizon to hand over phone records of millions of U.S. citizens. June 6th introduced the world to PRISM, a program which claimed to have direct access to data from Google, Facebook, Apple, and others. On June 9th, Booz Allen Hamilton contractor for the NSA, Edward Snowden, revealed himself as the source of the leaks. Booz Allen Hamilton fired Snowden on June 12th for violations of the firm's code of ethics, but that didn't stop the leaks, which still continue. Further revelations have included Skype surveillance, taps of fiber optic cables, huge database collections of contact lists, metadata, and encryption keys, tapping private data center interconnects with Project Muscular, deliberate weakening of encryption standards, deliberate infection of computer networks, spying on Warcraft, and most recently, diversion of laptops in order to install malware, among many others.
All right, how can you talk about 2013 without talking about Bitcoin?
Yeah, oh, yeah, you can.
It was originally created in 2009, but mostly unheard of, at least in the news, until this year. Bitcoin went from being worth literally nothing when it was created to hitting a high of the equivalent of about just over $1,000 US before crashing down again, and then going back up, and then crashing back down, repeat, repeat. Best known as the currency that accompanied illegal transactions on the Silk Road to some, which is a black market website, Bitcoin has transformed into functional currency with growing investment market. WikiLeaks used Bitcoin to work around a financial blockade, then raised $12,000 worth of Bitcoin for the defense of NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden. Richard Branson announced that Virgin Galactic would begin accepting Bitcoin. Some others companies followed suit, but the Chinese government is already putting the clamp down on Bitcoin trading, and its value continues to swing wildly.
Wild. It's a wild ride.
Mm-hmm.
On August 23rd, Microsoft announced CEO Steve Ballmer would retire within 12 months of that date. Microsoft formed a committee involving Bill Gates to search for his replacement. Ballmer will stay on the job until a replacement is found. Speculation ranges from Ford's Alan Mulally to Gates himself to Executive Vice President Satya Nadella. Those have all been floated. Gates denies that he would take the job and has said only that it's a, quote, complex role to fill. Ballmer's a complex man.
Twitter unleashed its initial public offering on November, well, it was the night after the 6th, so November 7th, at $26 per share on the New York Stock Exchange. The first trade popped up way up to $45 a share, then jumped up to a high of $50, a gain of 93% over the IPO price in the first day, before dropping back a little to close the trading day at $44.90. After Facebook's messy debut on the NASDAQ last year, some investors were skeptical, but the offering went by without a hitch. Almost 2 months later, shares are hovering in the low 60s, but some analysts say Twitter shares are overpriced and the honeymoon is coming to an end as the company struggles to pull in enough advertising revenue to keep those investors happy.
Better keep them happy there in Twitter. BlackBerry started the year with the launch of the Z10, the Q10, the new name BlackBerry instead of RIM, and the brand new, I said bland accidentally, I'm sorry, RIM, brand new BlackBerry 10 OS. They spent much of the year up for sale, but after a bid from Fairfax Financial fell apart, CEO Thorsten Heinz stepped down and was replaced by CEO John Chen. Under Chen, BlackBerry manufacturing has been shifted partially to Foxconn, or will be. BlackBerry Messenger was released for iOS and Android. Most recently, Chen told CNBC his team has a strategy to stabilize BlackBerry, of course. He also said he would love to make the BlackBerry experience available on Android and iOS.
Wearable technology, the new frontier in 2013 with Google Glass probably leading the charge. I mean, nothing's gotten more attention than Google Glass, right? The first Glass units were given to early adopters who had to enter and win a lottery, but then still pay $1,500 on top of that back in April. Google's using this testing period to improve the device for general consumption. Google Glass is, of course, wearable Android-powered computer built into glasses that you can put as a little perch display in your field of vision. You can film things, you can take pictures, you can search, you can translate on the go, as well as run specially designed apps for glass. But not everybody likes the idea of not knowing if a glass wearer is taking their photo or recording them without their permission. There's that ongoing safety issue for glass wearers who are also operating vehicles. And then there's that whole aesthetic thing that's just not working for everybody.
Abandoned bars, too. On September 2nd, Microsoft announced it will purchase Nokia's Devices and Services unit for 3.79 billion euros, plus another 1.65 billion euros to license its portfolio of patents. Nokia will continue on and focus on its network infrastructure, its HERE, maps and location-based services, and advanced technologies, which is its licensing and development arm. CEO Stephen Elop immediately stepped down and became Executive Vice President of the Devices and Services Division, reporting to interim CEO Risto Siilasmaa. The deal is expected to close sometime in the first quarter of 2014.
Apple's 2013 lineup was full of, products, actually. The iPhone 5S was announced as Apple's new flagship phone in September. Of course, the iPhone 5C is its more affordable, colorful companion. The iPad Air replaced the 4th-gen iPad. The iPad Mini got a Retina display. But perhaps the biggest change, and the most controversial, at least in design, was iOS 7, which did away with that skeuomorphic design of iOS and opted for a flattened, modern UI complete with bright new color palettes that not everybody was all that into, and new features like the Control Center and improved notifications.
The next-gen game console wars heated up as Microsoft and Sony released their new models. Sony announced but did not show the PS4 on February 20th, then undercut Microsoft with a lower price and more consumer-friendly message at E3 in June. PS4 went on sale in the US and Canada on Friday, November 15th for $399. Microsoft showed off the Xbox One on May 21st. Then at E3 on June 10th, Microsoft announced more details, including the option for game makers to prevent used game sales and the requirement that the Xbox always be connected to the internet to work. Microsoft President of Interactive Entertainment Business, the guy who developed the Xbox One, Don Mattrick, said people who don't have the internet should buy an Xbox 360. On June 19th, Microsoft reversed their unpopular policies, and on July 1st, Mattrick left Microsoft to become CEO of Zynga. The Xbox One went on sale on November 22nd for $499.
2013 had some good news for frequent flyers. In October, the Federal Aviation Administration announced that passengers would be able to watch videos and play games with their electronic devices throughout their entire flight, not just above a certain altitude. A ban on using cell phones for voice communication remained in effect, but once cleared with the FAA, airlines began allowing passengers to use portable electronic devices like tablets, laptops, e-readers, cell phones in airplane mode throughout the flight. I was one of them. It was a wonderful day indeed. Wonderful day.
Beautiful, beautiful feeling.
Yep.